14 million people voted for Donald Trump. 14 million people made a mistake. 14 million adults who have the capacity to make decisions made mistakes.
Our next caller is from Harry Truman's hometown, the house on Delaware Street in Independence, Missouri. Janice, supporter of Donald Trump. Good morning.
Good morning. It's good to see you again, Steve.
Good to hear from you, Janice.
One of these days you're going to get your own debate. Anyway, I want to ask Mr. French what the subscription rate looks like at National Review these days after they've gone on this tirade about Trump. All I see now are begging for money, and they don't take questions anymore. I mean, they don't let you make comments because they're all negative. And, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Donald Trump, but I really, really detest Hillary, and I would do nothing to help her get elected. These are the two choices that we have. I'm not fond of them either, but this is what we've got. This is what the Republicans gave us, and you can look in the mirror to see why. Because it's people like you that say, yeah, well, we need to do this. You've given us crappy candidates for the last I don't know how many years, and you tell us, well, you've got to vote for them because they're the Republican. And we've dutifully done that. And then when we get one that you don't like, oh, my God, the world is going to come to an end. I'm just sick of it. I'm sick to death of it. And if we lose, you can look in the mirror to see who's responsible.
Hey, Janice, can you stay on the line?
I sure can.
Okay, so we'll have David French respond, and we'll give you a chance to follow up if you'd like.
So first, as a point of fact, if you have a Facebook account, you can comment on National Review, and people do all the time. So if you don't have a Facebook account, we do Facebook commenting, just as a point of correction. You know, who's the we here? Who's the we that would lose? I am not part of the Trump movement. He does not speak for me in any way, shape, or form. The team that I want to belong to is a team that produces candidates who are honest, people who have integrity, people who speak with true conviction and have true principles and have shown them and demonstrated moral courage during their lives.
Who would have been that ideal candidate this year, David French?
You know, look, ideal candidate, I don't think that we had an ideal candidate. I do think that we had, 13, 14, 15 people running who had better values than Donald Trump. And a majority of Republicans recognize that because a majority of Republicans didn't vote for Donald Trump. I would have preferred Rubio, clearly. I would have preferred Ted Cruz. I criticized John Kasich strongly during the race, but compared to Donald Trump, I would crawl over broken glass to vote for John Kasich over Hillary Clinton. You know, what the problem with Donald Trump is not that he wasn't my favorite candidate and I want to take my ball and go home because I was a Cruz guy or I was a Rubio guy. That would be fit pitching politics that sometimes people engage in. The problem with Donald Trump is he's not fit to be president of the United States. Anybody who sits there and threatens the existence of the NATO alliance based on an understanding of America's strategic position and American military history and American interests that a sixth grader should know, that he lacks that level of knowledge, is somebody who's not fit to be president of the United States. Somebody who would repeatedly, for weeks and weeks and weeks, argue that he is and entitled to order American troops to commit war crimes, not fit to be president of the United States. I mean, you could go down the line. So this is a guy who's wrong well outside of the normal parameters. And I did not give this candidate to the caller. I tried to stop this candidate. I didn't give previous candidates to the caller. What I have always urged, and what conservatives like me or in the Never Trump movement have always urged, is to consider character, consider integrity, consider moral principles when voting for a candidate. Donald Trump has one primary moral principle, and that's to advance the interests of Donald Trump. A man with those principles is not fit to be president of the United States. Neither is a woman with the principles that Hillary Clinton has. Her principles are very similar. She is a person who is focused around advancing her own power and position. Honesty doesn't matter, character doesn't matter, integrity doesn't matter to either one of these individuals. So my view is if you vote and you're GOP and you're voting and you're selecting for Donald Trump, don't forget there's 2 election cycles in play here. If Donald Trump were to win, you're tied to him in 2020 as well. And that means for 2 full election cycles, the GOP would be tied around a man with no character, no integrity, unfit to be president of the United States. That could do permanent harm, not just to the party, but to the country.
Our guest is a former major in the U.S. Army Reserves. He's also the past president of the Foundation for Individual Rights in Education. He's currently a staff writer for National Review, briefly considered his own independent presidential bid. Janice, thanks for waiting. Give you a chance to follow up.
Well, he certainly is long-winded, if nothing else. I just cannot understand. You know, we are in a much weaker position than we were 8 years ago. But because some people think that it's okay to have Hillary in there, and you're saying, well, you don't want her either, well you're going to get one of them. Whether you like it or not, one of them is going to be elected. And I think, in my mind, Hillary's going to do much more damage than Donald Trump. He can do some damage, but what I'm kind of hoping for is that he's going to, he just wants to win, and then he's going to maybe, hopefully, turn it over to Mr. Pence and let Mr. Pence run the country, and he'd be better than any of the four that's up there. But even if he doesn't, I'm sick of the spineless Republicans who spent more time out of office this year than because they've got to raise money, and they don't do the job that they're there to do. Everybody says they're going to come in and pitch in, and this year they're going to get it done. Well, they never do. We're sick and tired of that. We're sick and tired of all the games that they play and it being looked down on for being Tea Party members. You're all disgraceful.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's one of the reasons why we have Donald Trump. The problem we have here is that we have two candidates who are completely unfit, people who are extremely angry, as this caller is angry, and yet they look at Donald Trump, and there's, in spite of absolutely zero evidence that this guy listens to his advisors over the long term, that this guy's ego allows anyone else to shine, that this guy will allow anyone else to lead him, anyone else to really advise him strongly. They say, well, he's going to win, and then he'll cede it all to Mike Pence. That's just deluded, wishful thinking. That's what that is. It's sad to see. I mean, how many times does Donald Trump have to demonstrate that he listens to no counsel other than himself? The man was up tweeting about a Miss Universe at 3 in the morning a couple of days ago. That's ridiculous. That's absurd. That is not somebody who is in any form and under any kind of control what they do. Look, between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, the reason I'm undecided is I honestly don't know which one is worse. There are things where I do think Donald Trump has a chance to be better. There's a chance that he'll nominate better judges than Hillary Clinton. There's a chance he'll be better on the Second Amendment than Hillary Clinton. There's a chance that Hillary Clinton will be better than Donald Trump in foreign policy. I don't think she will destroy NATO. I don't think she will violate our security arrangements with South Korea. I don't think she'll be as destabilizing in the international sphere as Donald Trump could possibly be. For every one thing where I say there's a chance that Trump could do better than Hillary, there's another area where I'd say there's a chance that Hillary could do better than Trump. And that's not because Hillary's good, it's because Trump is that bad. That's not a message people want to hear. People want to hear a message that says, well, go vote for somebody and America's gonna be better. Sorry, we're past this. America, these are the candidates you chose. Don't give me this, you forced this on me, you made me do this. No, you chose these candidates. The American people chose these candidates. And they might be angry about it, but they did it. And now they have to live with it. My view is we have to maintain and we have to preserve a core of people in this country who understand that party should be about principles, not just power. And then we're going to have to rebuild from the wreckage of this election. And from the wreckage of this election, we're going to have a choice. Are we going to double down on just pure power politics, celebrity politics, and family dynasties? Or are we going to double down on principles and courage and conviction and character? And that's why I think there is a necessity for a Never Trump movement on the conservative side, those who've not bowed the knee to Donald Trump.